Cubs back in the early 80s when they almost went to the World Series, a T-shirt in Chicago, and I kept that. And then finally, when they won the World Series, I wore it. And it was amazing I could actually put it on, but hey, I was pleased. We have time for questions. If anybody has questions.
Hello, Glenn Tobias. I'm from Innoacon. This is for Bryan. Just a comment at first. You said, I think your stepdaughter is doing a lot of thrifting, going to different stores.
Yes.
And you were talking about getting the textiles into thrifting. And I like to play with words. And there's a nice trendy word now, and I'm going to switch it around. She can start her own label calling it Sailor Thrift.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
It'd be, I think, a kind of neat little way. It's very trending right now. We won't talk about any special person, but I think everyone knows what's meant there. What about another comment or question, bootleg products in those foreign countries you were talking about, where they do that? I think I've seen that before where they make wrong logos on the thing and people think they're getting something from whatever major logo label that they have, but it's all bootleg, made somewhere real cheap and really bad. Is that a problem?
It is. We try to. We don't get a lot of that. We don't even. I look over here to a partner, or one of my coworkers. We don't deal with that. We try to look at where the stuff is from, what has on it. We have our export gentleman speaks 7 different languages. He's from Germany. He's been in the industry 30 years. Mike's been 30 years, and he knows about all of that stuff. So we stay away from it, but it is a big issue, because what do you do with that product once it's seized? I mean, the governments are seizing some of that stuff that comes in. It literally goes to landfills. So,
yeah, I've seen it when I lived in Germany.
Yeah.
People would go to other countries and buy this Boss or whatever label name, and it's all crap. And they bring it back individually, and they're worried why, or wondering why it falls apart in about 2 weeks.
Yeah. Yep.
I saw a couple of questions towards the back.
This is also for Bryan. You gave us the fact about that the fashion industry is the second leading producer of pollution.
Yes.
My question is, do you know where that came from?
That statistic?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
I'm not disputing it. I don't mean to put you on the defensive.
That's okay.
But go ahead.
There's a publication. It's by I can't think of the gentleman's name. There's a couple of publications that have that in it.
That have it in it.
Yes.
Well, partly what kind of bugged me about it a little was just saying that pollution is a broad thing.
Yeah.
Does it mean, I mean, there's a lot of different types of pollution, or do you think they kind of referring to water and solid waste pollution?
There's a tremendous amount of water that's used, and that's part of it, is the pollution in the water, and also from the dyes that they use.
Okay.
All that gets mixed into the water. A lot of it's water pollution more than anything.
Okay.
And then you have the plants that produce it. There's carcinogens and stuff that go into the air too that are produced at the plant. But those are scrubbed. They have scrubbers on it. A lot of the new plants that they're building for fashions, especially in Europe, they're strictly regulated, so they have to build them to specs that are from countries' regulations.
Okay, thank you.
So my name's Bowman Richards. I own a document destruction business in Nashville, Tennessee, and we deal a lot with, we don't deal in large volumes, but we have a lot of customers, distribution centers around the Nashville market, that apparel companies such as some of the big brand manufacturers. Speaking to your point earlier about what's done with this, the fabrics and apparel that is made maybe falsely or whatnot. Protecting their brand is
Yep.
their number one priority. We shred a lot of their apparel. I was curious if, and a lot of these big brands, they don't just donate their misprints to Goodwill and others. They don't like the fact that it's being sold on Facebook and other things as secondary markets. There's companies that are coming out with technology, and the technology exists to convert some of this fiber to new fibers. I was just curious if you've looked into that, or if you guys have any information on some of these companies that will actually take the fibers and actually recycle it into another fiber.
There are some that they're starting to do that. That's become a trend in the last 5 or 10 years. They're taking, not every fabric can be shredded or recycled. So they're taking some of those fabrics that they break down, and they're using them to create different types of clothing. There's some that they use plastics. There's some plastic clothing out there. Trying to think of some of the other stuff that's out there, but there are different companies that are starting to do that.
So what do y'all do in your business with the clothing that actually doesn't make it to the thrift stores or doesn't get sold? What happens to that excess that doesn't get donated?
If it's items that are ripped, or stained, or torn, or can't be sold, then those are items that we send to shredders like yourself to break those items down and to make them into different materials. Some of it can be used as car insulation, some are used as shop towels, some they made gloves out of them, work gloves out of them.
Do we have any other questions? Going once, going twice. Well, I'd like a really big hand for our panel here, and also for the audio crew and everything they have been doing today. And there is a reception starting in just a few minutes. Thank you very much.
They come back at 3 o'clock.
No, we got one more session.
Oh, one more session. One more session.
It's only 2:30. Oh, okay. I thought we had the reception at 2:30. Not 5 yet.